Woohoo! All right, game number 2, ladies and gentlemen, for the Ting Open. Spawning in the upper right side of Ruins of Ceres, we've got the yellow Zerg player. It's going to be Rogue.
In the bottom left, as the red Protoss, he's Seed. One too many E's in that clan tag.
You're so stupid.
Well, I could have been like Seed.
Yeah. See. I'm glad we don't have the text-to-speech robot on. Gosh.
Yeah, definitely. So, Ruins of Ceres is not a bad Zerg map at all, especially in these positions. Would have been bold, could have been cool if Rogue had gone for an early pool, which I'm seeing a lot of, I guess, just that coin flip.
Well, I mean, watching Bly versus Mana is a pretty good example of like a coin flip paying off, but I feel like there's so many instances where it doesn't, and that might be why we're seeing less of the macro-oriented players willing to do it, but more of the aggressive players are hopping on that hype train.
Mm-hmm. That's, definitely true. Seed did scouts fairly early, I think just for, first of all, it's a huge map, so you want to get scouting eventually, and it could be last. He's actually going to scout him second. But also because the early pool can happen and try and trick you. He goes for a Nexus after Gateway, so not the greediest, but not so bad either. And with Rogue going for only a hatch and then a pool with the gas, it's actually pretty nice openers for both of them. I am worried that Rogue is going to abuse Overlord drops. He tried to last game, and they weren't so bad. Seed cleaned up pretty easily, but Lings are a whole nother can of worms.
So you bring up good points, but I'm actually more concerned about Seed going Blink on this map.
Oh, good point.
Blink being really abused on this map in particular because of the third base layout, but also just watching his control, watching the way he played against Rogue in Game 1, I actually think Blink would be an amazing choice for him, and to dedicate to it would probably net him a victory.
Yeah, that is an excellent point. I guess it would depend on who does what first. The Ling attack would, I think, hit first, but we'll see how Rogue is even going to play it out. Imagine third base is going to be on the way. He is going to take the pocket expansion, so Blink's is going to be very abusive there. We don't see a Twilight Council yet. It's actually about to look at the Mothership Core. Well, let's say he's almost back up to 100 gas. Seed? Seed? Nothing.
Nada. It doesn't have minerals, actually, so.
Yeah. The Ling would obviously love to get into that main base and see. There's no Overlord quite in position yet, so without Neva Chamber, without Overlord speed, it's not going to be those drops. It is just going to be, I guess, just drone for him. Still no tech from Seed either, just gateways. I kind of think he's also going to go for his own third, which is, I mean, it's not as bad. It's just the Blink Stalker all in can be so good. 4 gateways.
I mean, it's a wall for now. We don't know how much this means versus doesn't mean, but I am curious, it doesn't seem like he's heading towards that Blink direction. But it's still a very important matter of, what's it going to be? He could actually viably throw down double Stargates this late and it'd still be a part of a regular build for what is, a See the Void. The Robo could come down. The Twilight Council could come down. It is us almost just tapping our feet Seed, which direction are you planning to play this game, man? Because, Rogue did take a base that would be susceptible to a Blink attack. Again, I'm not saying it's the only way to play on this map, but it is a way that we've been watching players like Patience and others very exclusively abuse the map.
Yeah, I mean, the 4 gateways is basically there's one more than you would need to really defend a third base, but I think the possibility of lane drops is very real and very scary, and having that just tiny bit early production might be good. It also just might be to have a bit of a better Adept suicide, because yet again, he's sending those Adepts out, so 2 more than you would have.
Still a banking 500 gas at this point. What?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Maybe he changed his mind, halfway through. Maybe he just missed the timing and it was a crap. Or maybe it was to make 4 sentries. There you go. That uses up gas real quick.
Yeah, sentries and quadruple upgrades or something.
There's the suicide in of the Adepts. Now, some of them might get out in an ideal scenario, but they're really just going to try and get a lot of drone kills, which so far they have not been doing a very good job of.
No, but
they're getting a lot of Lings.
If there's another transfer going out right now, this would be great. I don't know why you gave up on control there for a moment.
That was not great. That was rather poor, in fact.
It wasn't a big dedication though. On the other hand, so it's not.
7 adepts for 15 lings. I mean, yeah,
It wasn't a good trade. I agree, but it wasn't like you threw away 50 army supply worth of units.
Yes, that's definitely true. I just am worried because he's also still not teching, you know. So, I guess mass amount of Gabians are going to cover you for the beginning, just like mass amount of lings are going to cover you for the beginning for Rogue here. But I already have the Hydralisk end down. The Roach Sworn is also down, just hasn't gotten any roaches yet. Evo Chamber on the way, I think just for the upgrades. Overseer's going to check to see what the tech is, but surprise, there's not really any.
There isn't. It's very brute force out of seed.
Yeah, I mean, gateway units are good. Mass gateway units are still okay, but they usually are going to have, Resident Glaives, Blink, Charge.
Yeah, something.
And, I don't know.
I find it impossible to believe that he just forgot. Finally comes down a little bit later. So I mean, this does give Seed a really nice army supply. We've talked about this in so many casts where, is that the problem with PvZ right now? Everyone tries to go for tech too early, so they lose to Roach Ravager all the time because of blank. Seed is going to come up against Ling Hydra, which is actually going to be kind of scary because despite the fact that he has all these units, Ling Hydra is particularly good against most of them.
Yeah, I would say this could be a surprising attack for Rogue, though, who, at this time, maybe Blink had just finished up, but you would expect to see a Robo, too, and them trying to get up to maybe Immortals, I guess, because Disruptors aren't so much into the matchup anymore. But he has been making units.
Would have loved to see him hallucinate a Warp Prism to the main and see if that caused a reaction.
That would have been cool.
Phoenix. Yeah, there's no Blink for this. There's going to be Force Fields, which are good. Oh, well, those weren't.
The Rogue was already at 66 drones by the time Seed pushed out, so it really wasn't that bad of a time for Rogue to defend against that.
Today I learned if you go out of the fog of war, you lose sight on the force fields.
Yeah.
I just never knew that. I just thought you'd see them through the fog of war for some reason.
Huh.
I mean, as an observer, I don't. For players, it makes sense, obviously.
Oh, okay. All right, so a bunch of pylons coming down as he realizes he might need more, aggressive photon overcharges. This isn't Rogue's entire army, though. Seed doesn't have Blink, so his army position going over to the right is not as scary as it really should be.
Oh, there we go.
It's actually recalled just for a handful of roaches. That wasn't an entire army.
I think he thought his Blink timing was a lot closer than it was, and that may have been why he moved over like that. Spire coming up. This is actually a little bit funny. There's a bit of a throwback, almost Heart of the Swarm styles, where if it is going to be, Ling Hydra mixed into mutas, there will be enough stalkers to deal with said mutas, but the lurkers make this that next level dangerous. Storm's on the way. This is actually a pretty good. Seed, if he gets this army up, is going to look great. He'll have Storm for the Hydras, he'll have Immortals for the lurkers, he'll have stalkers for the mutas. I mean, he shouldn't die as long as he's got a good handle on the game.
Yes, that is true. I mean, he just did a pretty big burst of tech production, shall we call it. But he is missing those Resident Glaives that he had, for instance, in the Dust Towers game last game. Blink is only just going to finish here, and Charge, of course, is still a long ways off. Storm not done either. The Immortals are coming in by themselves off to the left, so that's not ideal.
No, in fact, they're getting cut on the ramp by those Hydras. Ooh, that's not good. Force Fields, still a lot of Force Fields through this, and while the Corrosive Bios can break the Force Fields, he's trying to use it on the army. Not a bad choice either. Guardian Shield gets popped to help a little bit with this damage. Supply from Seed still holding decently strong, and Storm is finished here in just 13 seconds.
A Warp Prism did end up going into the main base, and is being covered now by Roaches, but that might have been where Rogue's attention was a little bit off to the side. That's where his reinforcements went for sure. Has Seed scouted this Spire? I shall break the graphs and look. Does not look like it, so these mutas are going to, of course, go ahead and deal with the Warp Prism very easily, and then, maybe deal with Seed.
Speaking of said graphs, I didn't realize Rogue had been dominating the income for the last few minutes. I mean, it's not just a little bit ahead, but, rocking and rolling. I thought with the third base down, if Seed got it, he'd be fine in this instance, but ouch.
Yeah. I think Seed just has missed... I don't think he messed up and he's like, oh, Steve, you're so bad. What did you do in this game? But I think that attack was supposed to probably hit before Rogue was ready. It didn't. Delaying tech ended up not actually paying off. It was a risk that he was willing to take. We'll see if now having all of the tech that you'd usually want is going to still be enough. It might be, but it is going to be very difficult to deal with both the mutas and this huge ground army.
I do like the amount of storms available. It's not like there's going to be EMPs to shut this down, but the mutas are another big problem. A lot of stalkers left in the main. This means a big part of his army is missing for the main composition. Double Stargate's coming to try and get out those Phoenix. He might buy time for that, though, at this rate. Fourth base gets canceled, though. Little unfortunate. That is not game ending, but it is getting to this point where Seed's going to be mining out, and he's going to need a base sooner than later.
For sure. And the mutas, they lived throughout the surprise Blink Stalkers, so there's still enough of them, and actually he's bothering to get a lot more to take on an army. Well, to take on half our army, I suppose. That's in the main.
He's even going for Cranium Pulse Crystals to go with this. Interesting.
He's taking the mutas seriously, and it's a good thing, because Rogue is also taking them seriously, going up to, 20 mutas, getting +1. This could be a mistake from Rogue, as Seed actually did get up to 2 Stargates, but I think Rogue knows that it's really hard to make a brutal mistake with the economy lead that he has. It's a pretty big bang for him, so he can transfer over into anything else that he wants, and I guess for now, it's going to be a Hive, or maybe Fungals.
Well, of course, we're just following the mutas around because they're going to be where all the action is for the next few moments. Take that back, though, actually, as Rogue decides to try and stab into this base. These storms get caught. Oh, the Templar. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, man, there was a ton of storms on them, too.
The Stalker's no longer in the main. Phoenix are not numerous enough to really take this on. 4 Phoenix also don't have the annual Pulse Crystal upgrade, so diving in headfirst to the mutas, almost like a distraction to buy time for the Stalkers to get over here. Stalkers, as we see, can certainly focus fire down some of these mutas, but that's a lot of freaking mutalists sitting here on what is 24? Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that's a lot. They do have that upgrade. +2 is going to finish for the ground army, too, which is moving in. Well, I think they wanted to go check a 4th base, but there's no 4th base still. A lot of the mutas are very close to dying. They're going to get Annie and Pulse Crystals.
Yeah, can the army over here hold at the same time? That's the big question. He's actually dealing with the mutas surprisingly well. For how surprise attack this was, he's focusing on 2 different sides. He wins the right side. He's going to maybe lose some of the Immortals. He culls that mutalist count down.
19 mutas, though. Oh, jeez.
19 to replace this. He's lost 16. He's just going to go for the push. Mutas are like... Mutas are the most annoying thing to start base trades, because Protoss just end up getting to this point where like, fuck it, I can't keep up with this. This is so stupid.
Always turns into that, unless they're able to get to a decent Phoenix count, which Seed unfortunately has not been able to do.
I think if
there is a spine crawler wall, by the way.
I think if he had actually stayed at home, he would have managed this, but now there's so many more mutas on the other side of the map. He's going to meet mutas everywhere he goes. Might have this one brief moment of like, wait, how'd you get these back home so soon? Not realizing it was like 19 brand new ones.
Yeah, that's gotta be a bad feeling. He's actually gonna get collapsed in on with the mutas. The spine crawlers don't quite cover this 3rd base. Oh,
GG. All right. Sad to see Seed fall, but happy to see Rogue qualify for our tournament. So congratulations to him. I guess Kitty the Neko donated, but the donation. I made a new donation sound. It didn't go off. Son of a bitch. Kitty the Neko donates $5 and says, "Hey there,